Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all of my favorite foundations for dry skin. This is going to be based 100% on my own personal experience, and I also tried to keep all of you guys in mind in terms of coverage and finish. So I've got barely there coverage products all the way to full glam, full coverage foundations, and then I also included a couple matte finish foundations because I know that even sometimes dry skin girls like to have a matte finish. Sometimes I like a matte finish. It just depends what you're in the mood for. So if you are interested, please be sure to keep watching. Please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That way you guys get all of the notifications whenever I upload. We're gonna get things started off with the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint. I love this, and this is my go-to for day-to-day life. It's pretty much undetectable on the skin. I use about 12 to 14 drops, and it just overall evens out the skin tone. It's like using a tinted water on your skin essentially, and it's just a really nice, no fuss, no muss kind of product. Would definitely recommend this to girls who don't need a lot of coverage but just want something that's going to kind of overall even out the skin tone. It's really gentle on the skin. It's not agitating. Glossier products are all really sheer and buildable. I just would highly recommend trying out Glossier if you haven't before. Next up, I want to talk about the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. I don't own anything else like this product. This is the only foundation slash tinted moisturizer product that I own that actually makes my skin feel better when I take it off. This is extremely hydrating and nourishing on the skin. It's quite buildable. You could get medium coverage with this. It's not going to be totally full coverage, but it still looks radiant and natural on the skin. It doesn't cling to dry patches, so if you have dry texture patches on the skin, this doesn't emphasize those, and it blurs out imperfections on the skin, and it's just all around a really amazing product. I just like the look of natural, radiant, luminous skin, and you will definitely get that if you try this out, and I would highly recommend it to any of you guys that have sensitive dry skin that's easily agitated. This is a beautiful, beautiful product. And for my ladies out there who want a matte finish with not a lot of coverage, I would highly recommend checking out the Jouer Matte Moisture Tint. This is, again, a really unique tinted moisturizing product. This has light to medium coverage depending on how much you build on top of it, but the mattifying finish of it does not cling to dry patches or dry areas on the skin. It's not going to make you look scaly or anything like that, and it has a really nice, comfortable wear. It doesn't feel like it sucks the life out of your skin throughout the day. I find that with a lot of mattifying foundations, if you have dry skin, it just seems to even dry out your skin even more the longer that you wear it. That's not a problem with this, and it just has a very nice, natural mattifying finish that controls the oils on your face. So would definitely recommend that as well. For medium to full coverage products, I'm going to start off with two that are extremely similar. It is the IT Cosmetics CC Plus and the Jordana 2-in-1. As far as the big major differences, the IT Cosmetics one has a built-in SPF 50 physical sunscreen, which is going to be really awesome for those of you with dry skin that easily is irritated by chemical sunscreens. And this one has a little bit more of a luxurious ingredient list. There is an anti-aging serum in here, and it just has a little bit better skincare benefits as far as the ingredient list goes, whereas this one is just kind of a basic ingredient list. There's not really anything fancy in this one. The Jordana 2-in-1 does have an amazing shade range with all different kinds of undertones. They have golden undertoned, olive undertoned, pink. I mean, like, it's a really amazing shade range, whereas the IT Cosmetics one does not have as much of a shade range. In terms of longevity, the way the formulation of the products and the consistency and the way they apply, the way they build, it's pretty much identical. I would just recommend this to those of you that have a really sensitive skin and don't want the added step of putting on a sunscreen, but if you don't care, go for this one. I think that these would be great for those of you with really dry skin that don't want to wear a lot of makeup again, but just want something that's going to be buildable and you can kind of layer up on certain areas where you need more coverage, or those of you with really dry skin that is quite problematic with uneven skin tone and just have a lot of things that you want to hide, because this is going to be really, really comfortable to build up on your skin without it feeling dry or sucking the life out of your skin. So these are really hydrating. They're kind of like a cream foundation meets a liquid foundation. So now we've moved on to like actual foundation territory, and I would highly recommend the Maybelline Fit Me line. They have repackaged these and they say like dewy and poreless on them, but I purchased these like right before that happened, so mine are still in the old bottles. But this is a really great buildable foundation that has almost a truly dewy finish. It looks very radiant and slightly wet on the skin without being shimmery. So these are really beautiful. They're really buildable. I'm always between the shades 240 and 210. It's kind of hard to pick with these because I think the shade range is a little bit smaller. So if you have like a really strong yellow to golden undertone in your skin, check out 210 and 240. Next up we have L'Oreal True Match Lumi. This is a gorgeous light to medium coverage foundation that just feels really lightweight on the skin and doesn't cling to dry patches or anything like that. This isn't the longest lasting foundation. I find that it does tend to kind of wear off, and if I'm sweating or anything like that, it doesn't really hold up, but it's a beautiful foundation and I would highly recommend this for the colder months coming up when you're not going to be sweating quite as much. It's very beautiful and I like that it comes with a pump. Next up we have Sheer Glow by NARS. This is a really beautiful light to medium coverage foundation. I feel that if you build this up to full coverage, you kind of lose the radiance and the luminosity that this gives to your skin without it being shimmery, and it's just a really beautiful natural satin finish that gets a little bit more dewy depending on how you set it and things like that, but it just makes your skin look so healthy and it lets your own skin peek through behind it. So this is not a mask-like foundation. It just enhances your skin while giving you a little bit of coverage and just evening everything out. It's a very, very beautiful foundation. It's one of my all-time favorites. I'm gonna start off the full coverage foundations with a unique one. This is the Clinique Perfecting 2-in-1 Concealer and Foundation. This has a formulation that's really unique because it actually matches to your own skin tone. The first time I applied this, I was like, oh my gosh, why is it oxidizing darker? But it has some sort of technology in it that really does match your skin tone perfectly. It's quite incredible. This is a matte finish foundation, but it's very natural and it's again something that's not going to accentuate any texture on your skin that's caused by dryness. So scaliness, flakiness, any of that. This is a really nice one and it lasts for a very, very long time. Too Faced Born This Way is one of my favorite full coverage foundations because of its finish, and the formulation is very easily manipulated to get it to do what you want. So on its own, it sets to a satin finish that is just so beautiful. Even though it's full coverage, it doesn't look like you're wearing a ton of makeup, or it doesn't look like a full coverage foundation because it's just so nice and satin looking. Does that make sense? You can also make it look matte by applying a mattifying setting powder on top or using a mattifying primer underneath, and you can make this look dewy by mixing in an oil, mixing in a liquid illuminator, or you can set it with a dewy setting spray, and it just performs so well with all these outside factors that you want to change the formulation with. You can really get this to do what you want, so I really appreciate that about this foundation. Next up we have the Marc Jacobs Genius Gel Foundation. This is the ideal pick your own coverage foundation. You can do light coverage, medium coverage, to full on, full glam, full coverage with this foundation. It just builds and builds on top of itself without ever getting cakey, without ever accentuating dry spats. What was I trying to say there? It never accentuates dry spots, and it's quite a comfortable wear even when your skin is feeling really dry and really dehydrated. It's a really beautiful foundation that even at its most full coverage does not look cakey. This is a very, very skin-like looking foundation. So for those of you that like that kind of dewy, works with your own skin's texture types of foundation, I would highly recommend this because it just looks so skin-like. It's really, really beautiful. Next up we have the Laura Mercier Silk Cream Moisturizing Photo Edition Foundation, and what's unique about this one is it's extremely liquidy for one, if you guys can hear that. And the smallest amount covers so much area, and it's so thin, but the pigmentation is so rich in this foundation that it almost feels like there's nothing that you have on your skin. You can do 3 layers of this and it doesn't feel like anything because it's just so ultra pigmented, and that's why I'm saying a little bit goes a long way. You can really spread it across your face and use a really tiny amount and it still gives you so much coverage. So that's really amazing about it. Other than that, it does not cling to dry patches or accentuate anything, and it has a pretty good long staying power without using primer, and it sets to a satin matte finish on the skin. So this one's good for those of you who want a lot of coverage but don't like the feeling of makeup on your skin. This doesn't even really feel like you're wearing any makeup at all. And the last foundation that we're going to talk about is another one of my own personal favorites of all time. It is the Dior Star Foundation. A common theme that you'll notice throughout this video is that I tend to lose foundation caps a lot. I don't know, they go missing on me, but this is a really beautiful medium to full coverage foundation that, even though this has SPF 30, I would say test it before you go and take flash photography pictures in this, but for myself personally, this has never caused back any weird flashback in flash photography. I think it looks so beautiful on camera. Video, film, natural lighting. It just makes your skin look so plump, so healthy, so radiant without being shimmery or having any sort of sheen to it. It just makes you look angelic. It's very beautiful. Would highly recommend, especially if you want something that's going to be medium to full coverage, but has kind of a creamy consistency to it. So very beautiful. All right guys, so that's it for this one. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Any questions that you have, hit me up in the comments down below. Also be sure to come follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. Everything product wise is going to be linked in the description box down below. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye guys.